Did you know that choosing the right categories is one of the fastest ways to rank higher on Google Maps? But it's not as simple as typing in your niche and then guessing which category you should choose. So if you're ready to learn the strategic way to choose the categories that are actually going to help you rank, you're definitely in the right place. Now, I say strategic because if you follow the steps I'm about to show you, this is a huge way that you can leverage your Google My Business or Google Maps results. Now, there are many tricks to ranking well on Google Maps, and this is just one of them, but it is a huge one. As a matter of fact, this is one of the most important lessons that I teach as part of my Google Maps course. And it's so important that I wanted to give it to you for free. So sit back, relax, because you're about to learn some very powerful Google category and marketing tips and techniques that really do work. Enjoy! When you pick a business category, you will pick one main category and then up to 9 related categories. And I say related because you want your other categories to support that main category you chose. This part is really important to get right because the main category you choose will have the biggest impact in how you rank on local searches. So my first tip for you is to regularly test your categories. And what I mean by that is basically what you want to do is go with what you think your best main category is going to be, then maybe test it for a month. And then in the second month, what you want to do is pick another main category and see how that one does. And what you're going to compare is the type of traffic you're getting in, the types of services people are asking you for. And absolutely what you want to test is the numbers. How many numbers came off of category number 1? How many came off of category number 2? And in a later lesson, what I'll do is I'll actually show you how you could view your analytics and you could view the number of search views that you're getting based on your category. My second tip for you is to make sure that you choose categories that have a lot of search volume and preferably that have lower competition. So remember we did that keyword research where we looked at exactly those things. So this is where you're definitely going to want to reference your keyword research when you're selecting your main category and when you're selecting your other categories. Tip 3 is choosing the magic number of categories because you're allowed to choose up to 10 categories, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should. So, most important is choosing your main category. And then what you're going to do is use your other category selections to support what you said your main category was. And don't worry, we'll go over some examples so this is clearer. But what I want you to understand is if you choose more than a few extra categories, it might not only confuse Google as to what your primary businesses or what your types of services actually are, but it could confuse the viewer. And you definitely don't want to confuse them because they could be potential customers. Okay. So, what I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry, there's actually no magic number. But what the magic formula is choosing the right main category and just enough of the extra supporting categories that are going to help you get the best results. So, tip number 4 is basically don't select your main category or your subcategories until you know what all your options are. Because the last thing you want to do is pick something thinking is your best option, and then you find something that could have been a better option, and you might have missed out on all that business otherwise. So, let me go ahead and show you how to pull up a list of all your available categories and how I would suggest using it. It's really important for you to know what the categories actually are, because the last thing you want to do is miss a category that could be very fitting for the profit of your business. So you want to think about your main category, but you also want to think about the other things that you sell that are money makers for you that fit under your main category. So we're going to just use a very general search to figure out what the categories are, and then I'll show you how to use that to start getting ideas of what could work for your business. So all you're going to do is come up to Google, and under Google you're going to type something like Google My Business categories for 2022. And basically just pick something that shows the categories here. Complete list 2022 Sounds good. And then all you're going to do is just scroll down until you see the categories. So here are all the categories. Look at them. It's crazy, right? There are many, many, many categories. And Google's changing this and adding to it all the time. So that's why it's a very good idea to always be on top of what your main category is. Always do testing. Switch out your main category every once in a while with something else and see what happens. And then go ahead and keep checking Google's list to see what the new options are, because Google wants this to be as user-friendly as possible, and Google really wants to understand what your business is, and Google really wants viewers to understand what your business is and what your business does and what it specializes in. So let's use this list, and let's pretend we're an Asian grocery store. It just comes to mind because I just did some work for some Asian grocery stores, which was a lot of fun and different for me. So I'll just show you how that would work. So the best way to use this, instead of scrolling through all, like, I think there's over 3,000 or 4,000 options of categories, and you definitely don't want to go through that one by one. So the best way to use it is if you're on a Mac, do Command F, and if you're in Windows, do I think it's Control F. Okay, and that brings up your search bar or search tool. And so here, grocery. If I was again Asian grocery store, so I'm going to start with grocery store and see what comes up. So there's 10 options for grocery store. So Asian grocery store is number 1. Okay, gourmet grocery store in general, Indian grocery store, Italian grocery store, Japanese grocery store, Korean grocery store, kosher grocery store, and Mexican grocery store. So let's say, so the client I dealt with was primarily an Asian grocery store, and almost everything in their shop, everything in their shop was pretty much Asian cuisine and Asian catered to the Asian community for groceries. So what I would do in this case is choose Asian grocery store as a main category, and then general grocery store as a other category, but it wouldn't be my main category. Now, for example, if this Asian grocery store also sold other types of groceries, and maybe the Asian section was just a smaller section within their grocery store, well, then grocery store would be the main category, and then Asian grocery store would be a category under that. And I shouldn't really say under that. It's just your second category. It wouldn't be your main category. It would just be your next choice for category. And maybe that grocery store was very ethnic and also catered to some of these other cuisines we saw. Like I think there was the Indian grocery store. So they could list that as a subcategory, or an Italian grocery store, because if they have those subsections within their main grocery store, and depending on the area that they're trying to sell to, these might be really good subcategories. So what you would want to do is make a list of the main category that best describes in general what your business is, then choose all your other categories that will help cater to all the other services you offer within that, and just make your list. And again, before you finalize your list, our next step will be looking at your top competitors to see what they're doing and to get some ideas from them. So right now you're just making a list. Let's say you do accounting. So I type in the word accounting, and here there's 3 things that come up. So accounting firm, accounting school, and accounting software company. And then there's accountant. So if I'm an accountant and I work on my own, I might want to choose that as a category and just really, in my description, everything really talk about the one-on-one service that people are going to get. If I'm an accounting firm, though, I would list that as the main category and then list all the other services within that, because maybe you do accounting as a service, but you also do bookkeeping as a service, or anything related underneath that. Okay, so this is when your keyword research comes in really, really handy, because this is where you're going to start trying to find other things that describe your business. Because I just typed in accounting, but I'm like, oh yeah, accountant fits under that. But I would know that if I had my keyword list. So you definitely just want to spend some time at this and make sure you're not missing out on anything. I'm going to do one more. So if I'm in marketing, which I am, so I can type in marketing, and there's internet marketing services, there's a marketing agency services, marketing consultant services, and I'm not sure which one would fit best with what I do because I offer a wide range of marketing services. So in this case, I would write them all down as options, and then I would go into my competition and see specifically in the area I'm targeting and see what they're doing and see what my top competitors are doing, especially, and model what they're doing. Okay, so we'll get into how to do that next. My final tip for you for this lesson is I really want you to check out the top categories of your top competitors. And if you're not quite sure what your top competitors are, you're just going to simply type in what your niche is, and your city or your area, and see who comes up. And basically, what you're going to do is model the best people that are out there. And you want to check what their main categories are. And what I'm going to do is show you a tool right now that is going to make this job so much easier. It's always a good idea to model what's working best in your industry. So what we're going to do is find a tool that's going to help us do that. Because what happens is right now, let's have a look. Let's go to maps, and let's say you are in the dental industry. So we're going to go into let's just do dentist near me, something like that. And what you'll notice is always the top spots are for the ads. So you can see it says ads. So just what you want to do is always look at who's ranking organically. So forget about the ads for now and look at what else comes up for things in your area, your neighborhood. The other thing you do is put like dentist, if you're in the dental category, of course, and put in dentist and then put in the city, or whatever area you're trying to get customers from. Okay, so from here, what you can see is here, that's the category. So this person is coming up first on organic search and coming up in the broad category of dentist. This one's coming up in dentist, as you can see, most of them are coming up. This one actually, it chose the category dental clinic. Let's see what else we've got. Dentist, and then we've got something called an orthodontist, and basically you can tell that, they don't have that many reviews compared to some of the other ones. So here again, this is a really great example. If you are in the dental industry and you specialize in being an orthodontist and that's all you do, then it's absolutely a great idea that orthodontist is your primary and main category. Or maybe that's the only type of new business you want, so you would only put that out as your main category. If, however, you're a dental office or a dental clinic and you also offer orthodontist services, it makes more sense to put a broader category of dental and then choose orthodontist as one of your subcategories under that. So the other reason I wanted to show this to you is because I want to just point out that doing a regular search, you're going to get the main categories, okay? And that's great because we want to know what the main categories are, and that'll help us in our selection of our main category. But you also want to have a peek at what other categories these businesses that are competing with you are trying to rank for. And that's not only to give you a hint on what other categories you want to choose, but that's going to give you a hint on how many other categories you should be aiming for. So it's a good idea to see what the top people are doing, and then just kind of see the people that are ranking not so well, what they're doing, and start to get a feel for what exactly is going to work in your industry. So now I'm going to show you this really cool tool that's going to let you see those other categories very easily. But in order to do that, I just want to point out that you should be using Google Chrome in order to get extensions. I'm not so sure if you're using other browsers what a similar extension would be, but right now I'm just going to show you because most people will be using Google Chrome, and I'm just going to show you how to do this with Google Chrome. Okay, so you're going to grab an extension. So if you don't know how to grab extensions, what you want to do, make sure you're signed into your Google account. Then you're going to click on Update, and you're going to scroll down to More Tools. Then you're going to come across to Extensions. So what you're going to want to do once you get to extensions, to get a new extension, you're going to click here under the main menu and you're going to go to Open Chrome Store. Okay, and from here, we're going to find a tool called GMB Everywhere. So you're just going to type GMB and then you're going to type in the word everywhere like that. Okay, and there it is. So GMB Everywhere, and you can see it says it's view GMB categories, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now it also does some other things like GMB audits, review and audit, whatever. So you can have a look at what else this tool can do for you. But right now we just want to use it for categories. So in order to get it, you're just going to click on it and you're going to say add to Chrome. Then add extension. Give it a second. Okay, and now look what happens. Okay, so under dentist near me, under the same search, what happens is it shows me the main category, but it also shows me all of these other categories that this particular dentist is listed under. And remember I said just kind of ignore the first couple because that's usually where the ads are. We want to see what people that are ranking high without doing an ad and doing it organically, because that's what this is all about. We want to see what they're doing. Okay, so the person that comes up first in my area basically is under the category of dentist, but also chose to go into the categories of cosmetic dentists, dental hygiene, emergency dental services. Okay, so they've got one main category and 3 subcategories. Then I'm going to look at how many reviews they have, and then I'm going to look at their profile, see what else they're doing well, and just again model what's working well. But I'm going to make notes of these categories. So if I'm in the dental industry and I want to sell cosmetic dentistry and I offer that, and I want people to come to me for emergency dental services or whatever, I'll make sure now I know that those are categories available, and now I know that those are categories that I also want to add to my listing. Okay, so let's see what other people are doing. So this one here has got a lot more reviews, main category of dental, and then they've got other categories, and then again I'm like, okay, they got 5 other categories, this is what they choose, which ones best represent my business and what do I want to do. And again, you don't want to list like all 10 categories. You don't want to do that because you'll be too diluted. But if you really want to focus, if you're getting ideas from here, like, you know, cosmetic dentistry actually can make a dentist quite a lot of extra income. So if you're in the dental industry and you offer cosmetic dentistry, you absolutely want to list that as a category. Okay, but you don't want to miss the other business. So dentist is a very good heading category to go after. And most dentists, as you can see, if you scroll down, most dentists are doing that. Now look at this dentist, okay? This dentist has only got the category of dentist and not using any subcategories, and they've only got 2 reviews, okay? Yet they're still ranking pretty high because again, this is just my local area. It's not really huge. But it's still ranking. So there's a reason they're still ranking high, even though they're doing this poorly and this poorly. They could be doing a lot better. So for those of you who want to offer Google My Business as a service to other businesses, this would be a really good area for you to look at, because then you could just call these guys, you know, and just say, hey, I know how you could probably get a lot more traffic to your website through Google Local Search or Google Maps. And all you would do for them is just those little things, add some more categories for them, help them get a little bit more reviews, and those 2 things alone would totally bump them up the ranks. So let's see what else. So just keep scrolling, just start getting ideas. And you can do this for anything. Like I just picked dentist because everyone's familiar with dentists, but I don't know, if you're like a pet shop, and this time I'll put in Burlington because that's currently where I live. So I'll just put in Burlington pet shop and see what comes up. Or I guess it's pet store would be more specific, but let's see what comes under pet shop. So remember, ad, we don't want to look at the ads. We want to look at people ranking without an ad. Okay, so we look at what's coming up, we look at the number of reviews, and we look again, their main category and their other categories. So they're ranking under pet store. Their main category here is pet store, pet groomer, pet supply. So again, if you're a pet store, if you offer pet grooming, if you offer pet supplies or whatever, then you know these are the sorts of things you want to absolutely be using as categories. Now look at this. Most places see their main category. Oh, it's here, pet supply store, pet store. Look at the ones that are doing the best. The ones that are doing the best, their main category is pet store, right? So then you come to somebody like this, and look, they've got no reviews and their main category is pet groomer, but yet they're a pet supply store. So I don't know why they would do that unless their main service and their main money maker is pet grooming. Otherwise, definitely if they had checked out their competition, they would see that pet store is probably the best main category to be under, and then they could put pet grooming and pet supply store as different categories underneath their main category. So I hope this is making sense. I know it takes a little bit of work, but it's not, as you can tell, it's not like oodles of work. You could do this in just a few minutes. And just taking even a little bit of time in this, you're going to get a really good feel for what your main category absolutely should be. And some of the subcategories that you might not have thought of. And some of those could be really big money makers for you. Because just think, if you're a pet store and you get extra people in for pet grooming, then that's extra money for you. And look at this, PetSmart. PetSmart's huge, right? And they're just listed under Pet Store. They're missing out. Anybody looking for pet grooming, they're missing out on those people on their Google My Business because they're not listing it. And I can tell you right now from going into PetSmart, pet grooming is a really, really big component of their business. So if anybody here knows PetSmart people, get on it. Get PetSmart. You could be doing a lot better. You guys are way ahead of the game by knowing how to do this and by using this fabulous tool, GMB Everywhere. So have some fun with that. So there you have it. You now have some powerful secret techniques that you can use when choosing your categories and ranking higher on Google Maps. And you also have a few extra marketing tips that are really going to help you with your overall ranking. So if you loved this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and please come back after you've used the techniques and let me know how you did. I'm here for you to help you rank better online, and I want to know that the tools I'm giving you are actually working and making a difference in your life. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.